Colours and Forgiveness, Episode 8. The story so far. The strange mist of colours that Lucy has been seeing on herself have now begun appearing on others, appearing like multicoloured mood mists. The faces of others fade when they appear. Lucy, frightened and now alone since her partner Tom left, is beginning to feel separated from the world. No one will believe what she's seeing. The therapist suggested she seek psychiatric help. But Lucy knows they're real. She knows because the old man she met on the Isle of Iona, Fedel, could see them too. Remembering his words of warning that things would get worse if she didn't face them, she decides to return to his croft and ask for his help. The large boat pulled up to the mooring, and Lucy waited patiently with the crowd waiting to disembark, along with their colours. She sighed and walked towards the village. Passing the wool shop, she noticed a sign, bed and breakfast, spaces available. Inquire within. Well, she needed somewhere to stay, and she'd heard accommodation was limited here on the island. Taking it as a sign, she opened the door. The bell jingled, and in the brightly lit shop a friendly face appeared. Lucy looked at the young woman. No colours, thank goodness. It was reassuring when she could just talk to someone without seeing the ebb and flow of their buried emotions playing out in a palette of swirling mist. "Can I help you, or are you just browsing?" the young woman asked. She was perhaps only a few years older than Lucy, her dark hair pinned back, her green eyes warm and kind. "Actually, I wondered if the space was still available." "For the job, you mean?" "Oh, no, I didn't. I meant for the room. I need somewhere to stay." "Won't you be returning to the mainland?" said the woman. Her eyes were curious. "No, I want to stay here for a bit. I need some time." Lucy's voice trailed away. What on earth could she tell people? She couldn't exactly say she was looking for a mystical old man in a croft on the moor to help her get rid of these strange colours that were filling her world. The woman was speaking again. She smiled. "Would you like it?" "Yes, please," said Lucy. "And how long is it available for?" "Oh, we don't need to book ahead here. You can stay until you're ready," came the reply. Lucy looked at her. What did she mean? This island had its own ways, she thought. "I wondered," said Lucy. "I'm sorry to be so impulsive, but I wondered what you meant about the job." The woman looked her up and down briefly. Their eyes met, green on brown. "I'll bear you in mind then. My name's Hannah, by the way." The next day, Lucy closed her bedroom door, settled her backpack on her shoulders, and set off. She remembered how far Fedel's Croft was, and knew this was a good opportunity to get up there while she had some spare time. To see him. To speak with him. The sun was lifting into the sky. The birds sang their songs and the gulls squabbled above. She felt happy. She could see the colours. But she intended the day she left Iona they would be gone forever. As she crossed the last stile, she saw the familiar outline of the building, but the cottage looked dark. She hadn't imagined he wouldn't be here. How silly of her. As she came close, she hesitated. The door was not just open, it was swinging loosely on one hinge. She stepped over the stony ground and stopped. The cottage was derelict. There was no fire, no Fedel, no smell of delicious tea bread, just a rotting door. She poked her head inside, confused. It had only been last summer they were here. How could the cottage have deteriorated so fast? The roof was full of holes, the floor tufts of grass. There was no fireplace, just a few bricks in the wall that suggested that once long ago there may have been. Lucy sat down on a boulder close by. She collapsed in disappointment, her only hope, the only person who could have told her how to stop this nightmare. Because now she faced it without hope of an end, she realised it was. She didn't want to see colours every day. She didn't want to brush her teeth with swirling clouds around her head. She didn't want to speak to someone who looked tired and see their sludgy colours. She began to cry. The sobs became screams and then subsided to soggy snivels. Well, this was it then. A small sound caught her attention. A sound caught her attention. A tiny bird was sitting in the doorway of the croft. His head tipped on one side, he watched her. As if the world had stopped for a moment, there was just this. The small bird, the doorway, and Lucy. She could no longer hear the sound of her sobs, or the wind, or the sea in the distance. He pecked at something in the entrance, and then flew up to the top of the door. And then it happened. She was looking into his tiny eyes, and they were blue, and they were looking at her, and they were looking at her colours. She stood up, excited, and he flew away. To be continued.